We're back, guys. Here we are to analyse my team. We had a decent week. Could have been a lot better. We had 14 players playing. Would have expected a big jump in ranks. It was kind of the rank jump was probably what I thought it would be, but I thought I'd score a bit better, and I probably should have been a bit higher in the ranks through the week. So I ended up scoring 661 for an overall rank of 831 now. So we're in the top 1K again. First real official under the top 1K. We had 1 week of I think 860. So now 831 and only room to improve with 56K in the bank and 17 trades. So we'll go through the scores in here, and obviously up top here, you're not pretty happy with it if you're in my situation with Brayley 42, Papali'i 34, who I brought in a couple of weeks ago, has only lost me money since. Spencer with 29, so got the starting role and only got 33 minutes, which was pretty upsetting. Decent PPM still at 29 and 33, but that wasn't too fun overall. I was hoping for a mid 30s to 40 score with him. Alvaro with 14 in his 22 minutes, so his lowest score of the year, which was just beautiful. We move into a couple of better scores, thankfully, in Lucy Leilua with a nice penalty try, but he got hit in the head. Do you reckon that was the reason he dropped it, or he just got tackled and dropped it? Anyway, you guys can decide that. But an amazing game from Madison, which I spoke about in the previous video with 73. So one of those games that he's very much capable of doing. And this is kind of what happens with him. He'll hit scores around that 50 mark, and then have a bunch in the 70s, which averages him out around that 60 mark for the year. So really happy with those two guys, as they were two guys I targeted for this buy round, and they actually delivered for me, which was great. So really happy with that. Fogs was someone I had very early on in the season, and didn't score as well as we'd hoped. But this has been very normal for his season. He gets some mid 60s to close to 70 scores, and then drops down to around that 36, mid 30s kind of score on the opposite week there, which sits him at an average of just 49 points, which is not great. Which had an injury affected game in there and stuff, but a lot lower than I thought he'd be averaging for the year. So he's been an okay buy for my side, but I'm happy I held him the whole way. But the question will be, is he actually going to be a complete keeper this year, or do I start thinking about trading him on in close to around 17? So there's that there. Opacek and Bird I'm happy with in the centres with 38 and 53. Obviously it's not like Peachy's score, but happy with the trade-in of Bird for Starling this week. Did the job for the squad. And then moving on to Laurie, Dewey, and Hines. So 49 for both Laurie and Dewey. Obviously happy I didn't captain Papali'i. I suppose Madison was an option, but after a lower game, that was a bit scary, and also Brayley too. So Hines was the best, almost the best, definitely the best out of those three. But I guess Maddo or Lucy could have been half an option there. Dewey's score we're not too happy with. I just don't like him in the centres. He doesn't get to kick the ball. He doesn't get to run it as much. Just doesn't get his hands on the ball as much. Tackling's a bit lower, and he's less protected out in the centres to miss tackles and stuff like that. So there's that. But very thankful I held Stefano. So he did a great job for us in some decent minutes there, and picked up a try also. So that's that there. And then Watson has been the steady hold and stick and pick for the year with 53. So a score of 661. We're in the top 1,000. Only should be improving from here with a lot of trades remaining and some cash in the bank. So the question this week will be, will we be able to field 17? We should have Reece Walsh out for this week. Crichton has the red dot at the moment, but don't worry about that one. They haven't factored in that he was going to be playing Origin. So I think once they decide that he was going to be picked, then that counts as his second game suspension, and he'll be allowed to play for the Roosters in round 14. So there's that there. We obviously got Manu, Harris, Roger, Schuster coming back if Schuster's fit. So that's the other one to think about as well. Will Cleary be held back this week? Are there any other injuries coming out of this week's games? We'll find out in the team list today. But so the team is in a solid position. I'm happy where we're at. In terms of guys that we may be looking to trade on, I think it's the right time to get rid of Alvaro. He did lose about 40k this week, close to it, 30 odd. It says in the other one, I think it was 418 or something. Maybe 30k this week he lost. So he's someone to think about moving on. Hopefully there's a cash cow that pops up, which we spoke about in those couple of videos there. If Reed Marnie's out for a month, we might see Lussick in a big minute role, which could be good. So there might be some options to downgrade and then possibly upgrade to like a CHN, I think is probably my thoughts at the moment. Obviously, in terms of my edge and mids players, I've got Harris will slot back into the mids. I've got Crichton should come back to the mids as well. And then I could have CHN as some really strong cover in the edge. And then I have Watson as good cover in the mids as well. So they'll be pretty strong, as well as having Schuster there. But I'm having him as like half coverage at the moment. Got plenty of coverage in wing fullbacks. The question is, will he end up being a keeper that we want in our side long term? If he plays centre the whole time, do I want to have someone that, he just lost me 40k? He was 705k or something like that before this round. Do I want someone that's going to be up and down and get a 50 and then get a 30 odd and average like 40 when he's priced at mid 50s? I don't know if we want that, and I'm worried that he's going to lose a fair bit of cash over the next bunch of weeks. Who they play? So they play Para in round 14. He might not go that well either. So he's a scary one to own at the moment. Laurie's fine. He gained a little bit of cash this week, and you're not worried about him losing too much. But he might not score it well either against the Eels. But obviously the Tigers did get a win against the best team in the comp on the weekend, so they might be there. So is that there, guys? That's kind of where I'm at in terms of the squad at the moment. Could be a couple of trades this week. CHN will really bolster things. Hopefully it's not another situation of Tom Starling, but yeah, that's the team at the moment. We'll move on to the alternates, who actually had a really good week. We scored 740 and moved from 18,000 to 12,600. So finally, things improved for the team. Would have been a lot better if Papali'i scored well because we had him as captain. And why we didn't captain Hughes is another story. But don't think I'd even made that decision. I was like, I'll just trade Hughes in, and then I'd had the C on Papali'i and just left it there. But having Kelly and Gamble in there was really strong. Having Twal have his best game of the year basically with his minutes was great. Pango Jr., Hughes, Bird and Peachy as our centers, but then having Moses and Papali'i, the Eels guys kind of killed me this week, which was interesting, as they've been players that have done really well. But having 14 players play. I did trade out Kurt Mann for Hughes, so Man got 50, which was solid. But trading in Hughes and Kelly was a pretty nice little couple of trade-ins this week, and sitting with 18 trades is solid. So we can really trade heavy over the next bunch of weeks. I think we'll be strong, and see if we can get straight under 10k this week. I think we should be able to, by making another few trades and hopefully some decent scores from these fringe guys as well. We got Fafita there who should be able to back up and come back, but if not, then we'll have to work out what to do with guys like Simpkin and stuff like that. But I suppose there's not too much more to say on the alternates. Guys on the chopping block include Spencer Lanu. We have McCulloch we're going to be holding. Twil's definitely not on the chopping block after that week. Brayley we can think about. Dane Laurie as well. But you got so many guys coming back. Teddy, To'o, etc. We'll have to see what happens with those guys if they actually recover, if they get named in their teams, or if they are just completely going to be rested this week if they're not in the 21. And that's going to be the scary thing going into this week is, these guys might be named just assuming that they get through Origin unscathed, and then we have to see what the fallout is after Wednesday night. And I think the first game's on the Friday, if I recall correctly. It'll be on the Friday, which is good, so that we can actually see what happens. So round 14 we got the Manly and Cowboys, so Trbojevic and these kind of guys, and then you got all the Panthers guys that we've got to think about coming into that Friday game against the Panthers. And it might be interesting for guys like Jesse Ramian and stuff that might be able to go really strongly against a maybe slightly understrength Panthers side coming into this week. But we'll work that out as we come to it when we see the team list, and we're going to go through a deep dive in all the kind of round 14, round 17 kind of plays you look to be picking up in your squad this week, and we'll go from there, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that one. Finally in the top 1k, and hopefully we can stay there for the rest of the year and see how we go. But if you enjoyed this, please hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next bunch of videos, guys. Have a great day. See ya.